What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Thermal Expansion. And today, guys, we're going to finish automating the production of Phyto-Gro, and we're actually going to add a couple things into this setup to make it go from Phyto-Gro once we craft it, all the way to Fluxed Phyto-Gro, which is the highest tier and is going to give us the most bang for our buck whenever we put it into any of our setups. So, a couple things I want to go over before we do the crafting and start shifting a couple things around here and making it all fancy. First things first, the most important one, there is now auto crafting in Thermal Expansion, and unfortunately it was available during the recording of last episode, but like I said, unless it was in the most recent update, then it didn't exist, and of course, it was in the most recent update that came out about a month ago, and I was just too lazy to update to. I had always kept updating it and checking the GitHub to see if there was an auto crafter put in, and of course I gave up one update too short and got a little bit unlucky with that, but we do now have the ability to auto craft, which will simplify this setup a ton. So thank you guys for letting me know in the comments, and I do apologize for not being on top of my game in that regard. Couple other things, I did end up switching the phytogenic insulator so that the water now goes into it properly. I believe the part that messed me up was the input on the bottom needs to be blue. And the reason I thought that was weird is because if you look at any of the set inputs, there's always a color corresponding to them. So it's blue, and then on here, blue corresponds to oak saplings and rich Phyto-Gro, or whatever goes into the fertilizer slot. But for some reason, there is no blue around the water tank, which I was looking for last time and thought, oh, there's no need to change the side configuration for water because there is no color corresponding to this. And I get it, blue might be a little bit weird on, the water portion of the tank because you probably can't see it that well, but still, that's what threw me off, so that was my bad too. But other than that, I think we should be good to start setting stuff up. I did move some things over into the house, just some chests in here, so that we can do some crafting, but again, I've been super lazy and have not finished either building the house or putting the machines in here. I got a little bit caught off guard when I was going to do that, and it ended up, turning into me wanting to put some upgrades onto this setup rather than start moving things into the house. So, a little bit of a trade-off, but I really want to finish this setup today, so that is what we are going to do. Now, this chest right here doesn't actually have that many materials in it because the stuff that we're doing today is not super expensive, but we are going to need to craft a couple different miscellaneous things to do this upgrade. So I'm going to grab all these things out of here. I think probably the most annoying part to get, it wasn't even annoying, but getting a stack of iron and almost a stack of copper is probably the most expensive part of this, which should say a lot since it's not expensive at all. But first we need to make our boreal extractors. Now, you don't need 4 of these, but I'm going to do 4 just because I like the way it looks, and there's really no point in not doing 4 if you have the amount of resources that I do, at least. But the reason we're doing these is because to go from Phyto-Gro to, I think it's rich Phyto-Gro, which is the second tier or the middle tier, you need to use either I want to say rich slag, which is what I planned on using, but it's easier to automate if you use sap and infuse that into the regular Phyto-Gro, which is pretty easy to do, and we can get sap using our boreal extractors. It requires no power input. They will just get it passively from oak trees. So we're going to make 4 our boreal extractors and put those around an oak tree right outside, and we should be good to go then. So how many of these do we need per? We're going to need 1 per for that. Okay, I just want to make sure I don't overcraft these because I know we do need a lot of resources for other things, and if I overcraft it, I'm going to be super mad at myself. So we need the servos. We're only going to need 4 of these, and we need 4 iron gears. So this is where most of the iron comes into play. No, we need 8 iron gears. That's what it was. Okay, so that's what takes up most of the iron right there. And there we go. 4 arboreal extractors. We're not going to put any upgrades or anything on these. The system could be more efficient, like I said last episode, if you start putting augments on them and, upgrading them all the way up. But we're not going to do that just yet because we really don't have a need for the Phyto-Gro that we're going to be making. But eventually we will, and that is the time that we'll start upgrading those and all the different cables that we're running through them. So we've got the arboreal extractors. The next thing that we're going to need will be a couple fluid ducts. They are going to be the clear ones just because I think they look a lot nicer. I think I accounted for making, I want to say 12, so that should be good right there. That's probably a lot more than we actually even need. Next thing is going to be the sequential fabricator. Now this is the most important part of this whole thing, so let's all just enjoy the fact that we can make this now. Ooh, you know what? I think I'm missing a crafting table. I don't think I remembered to get the stuff for that. I hope I remember to get the stuff to actually make the sequential fabricator itself. For some reason, I might have forgotten it, but you know what? We'll just go with the flow now. So we need the copper gears and redstone reception coil, and then the last part is the crafting table, which I think is the part, I know I have some, I thought I had, okay, so I guess I did not account for that. Please let nothing be outside right now. Okay, and I'm just going to steal this crafting table because we actually don't need it out here anymore, since we have the one inside. So we will grab that, pray that nothing explodes on us because I really don't want to lose the machines that I have outside right now. Really need to move those in. But we'll worry about that another day. So we got the sequential fabricator, new recipe unlocked. Still hate that thing, but it's very uncommon that it pops up now. Okay, so now that we have that, we need the fluid transposer, which is going to allow us to upgrade from Phyto-Gro to rich Phyto-Gro on the fill setting using sap. So this again is going to use the redstone reception coil, copper gear, so this should be the last two, and then the machine frame, which needs tin gear. Oh my gosh. Am I missing out on stuff? Huh. Okay, so I guess I actually did not properly account for some of the things that I was going to need. So let's grab tin out of there. And, okay. So that's one of the few times that I've actually messed up on that. I shouldn't say few. I mess up on that all the time. I try to be fancy and show you guys how much we're going to need per episode. But it looks like sometimes I get it wrong. Okay, so there we go. We got the fluid transposer. And then the last thing that we are going to need is to upgrade from rich Phyto-Gro to the Fluxed Phyto-Gro, which is the last step, is the energetic infuser. So for this one, it's going to be a lot of, yeah, so we're missing the copper. It looks like I completely just forgot the sequential fabricator. Okay guys, so that was a little bit of a mess. It looks like I just did not account for the sequential fabricator in terms of crafting stuff. So then when it got to the last machine, we were basically missing all the things that we needed to make it. So my inventory is a little bit of a mess right now. I just went off camera, gathered a bunch of the stuff, not really gathered it, but I just pieced it together since I needed to make some electrum and whatnot. And now we are back. We are ready to finish off crafting the energetic infuser. And we've got a bunch of junk now in the inventory. So we do need to, I'm going to put all this stuff that we're actually going to need right there, just to help me click all of this stuff out, kind of open up the inventory a little bit so it's easier to work with. So that should leave pretty much just the essentials in the inventory now for the most part. And now we get to come over and start fiddling with all of this stuff. So unfortunately, I do think we're going to need to move a fair bit of this over one. The setup could stay the same exact size if it weren't for the fact that the fluid transposer needs to have both an input for fluid and an input for energy. So that is one downside, or else I would have replaced these 3 blocks right here with the sequential fabricator, fluid transposer, and then the energetic infuser. But unfortunately, we can't do that because then we only have one available side to input both fluid and the power into. So we are going to have to get rid of a bunch of these machines and shift them over one, but it's not the end of the world because we've got this open block over here anyway. So I think right around here is where the cutoff is going to happen, and everything should be pretty simple to move. I'm going to click all of these off my hotbar right now, just so that all of these should retain their configuration, I believe. So I'm going to try my best to not forget what goes where. So it looks like, oh, you know what? The only downside is it looks like I flipped these. So this one should be down here, and oh, this one should go up top. So this is hopefully not going to take too long. I'll probably just go one at a time then. So we'll put that there. The main thing is I really hope that this does not lose the lava and the water that are inside of it. Please. Oh my gosh, it lost the lava and the water. Okay, well, that kills me a little bit inside. That's a little bit rough. I guess that's the price I pay. So we need the pulverizer to go back down here. And then the last 2 machines that need to be moved will be the induction smelter. And get that back up here. And then down here, at the very bottom, we need to move the, what is this? This is the compactor and the pulverizer then right next to it. So it's really annoying that this stuff is getting pulled into my inventory, but there we go. So that should be good. And then I'm going to get rid of all of these because it's going to start to get a little bit weird. We don't want the same setup as before. I'm going to get rid of all of these back here too. And we're pretty much starting, not fresh, because everything else is set up fine, but for the most part, all the configuration should be good. We may need to add a couple of filters here and there, but other than that, I think we are okay to start right now. So we don't actually need these, so we're going to grab all those up. And now we're going to put down the sequential fabricator, because that is where all the magic is going to happen. So that's right here, and I'm thinking we're going to put it down right over here, so that it's going to get input from, it should get input from this coming straight over, so that should be the pulverized charcoal, and that'll go in on this side, and then we can get rid of input on the top. I believe the output is probably going to go on the bottom, but I'm not positive yet. I need to figure out kind of how things are going to work. It's most likely going to go on the bottom, and then all the other stuff is going to come in the side right here. So we'll probably end up putting down an item duct over here, and it'll connect to all of this stuff, and then we will use filters to make things go where they need to. And then this is most likely going to drop into, and the reason I'm kind of, fiddling with this is I haven't actually messed around with this in creative like I normally do, so I'm not positive how things need to go just yet, but I think the fluid transposer can go right below this, and we can put the fluid in the bottom here, and then we can put the energetic infuser right there. Okay guys, so I went off camera and I got a couple more filters, so we've got 5 to work with now. If we need more than that, then I'll have to go get some more, but I think this should be more than sufficient for what we're going to have to do in terms of sorting the inputs and outputs through the system over here. But these really aren't super crucial just yet. The most important thing that we need to start setting up is going to be how we actually get the sap, because that is going to get put into the fluid transposer. It's already on fill mode, so I guess that's what it starts out as, but this is what we really need to get done right now. So we're going to be putting it in the bottom, as I said before. So the fluid ducts are going to run down here, and then we can either run them underground if we really want to. That probably would look a little bit cleaner, assuming I have enough right now. If not, it's not really that expensive to get more, but we're going to grow it out here. I put down some grass, I let it grow over here, and it should be a nice enough area. Since we really don't need a full tree, chances are I'm just going to let one grow and then trim off all the leaves around it, because we can do that. So I want to plant one down. I got 2 oak saplings. It took me a surprising amount of time to actually get some of these to drop. I don't really know why it was so hard, but I went around just manually breaking leaves because I didn't feel like waiting for all of them to despawn. And I didn't get one off of like 5 trees. So I don't know if the rates went down for manually breaking leaves, but it took me forever to get this. So we're going to play this here. Hopefully it's far enough away from that stuff that it'll grow, and try our luck at bone mealing it a couple times. There we go. Unfortunately, I don't want to leave all the leaves on here right now. Oh, look, now I'm actually getting them. I got like 2 in a row there. Okay, you know what? The game was just scamming me before. It just didn't want me to have an easy time going to record, but we're good to go now. It might look a little weird, so eventually I might move it a little bit further away from the house and actually let it be a full-grown tree. But for now, I think we're just going to chop off most of these lower trees. I don't really think it matters if there are any leaves on the tree, but in all the videos that I've seen on this, people recommend you keep the higher up leaves. So I think we're going to leave the very top ones. Yeah, so we'll probably just leave those right now. Super, super sad tree. But now we're going to put down the 4 arboreal extractors below it. And like I said, we're probably going to pump it through the ground. So we can put them directly on the ground right now, since they have to be at the base level of the tree. And I believe they should just start collecting stuff. Now, if we did want to put in the Phyto-Gro, it would go in this slot right here. But we're not going to do that, obviously. We definitely do not need a lot of sap. With all 4 of these gathering, we should start filling up the fluid transposer very quickly and eventually hit a backlog, so not too worried about that. But we do need to break some of this grass and get below here and fill some of these areas in with some pipes. So I think we should be able to get every single spot we need from right here. So we'll get one there, 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 and there. And then I think we'll probably go down one and then over through here. So get this back down, and then we just want to make sure that the only output is going to be on the bottom for these, make it look a little bit nicer above ground. Not that it really matters, but we'll do that. Get rid of all of these, and lastly, over here. So they should be outputting straight through the bottom. It is auto outputting, and then we need it to line up eventually somewhere over. We need it to be right here, basically. So let's go down right here. Probably is a good spot. and start running it. We're definitely going to need to make more, so that's just inevitable at this point. But we need it to be here, and then I forget. I'm going to have to break some of these and replace them with regular stone. Or replace them with... I'm not going to replace them with cobblestone, so I'll have to actually make more stone. We need it to be... Is it right there? So lined up right here. So one more over, and then it needs to start going in. So we're pretty close on being able to get it there, but not close enough. So we need copper, I believe, for these, right? That shouldn't be any issue if we do. Yeah, so we just need copper and glass. I should have that. One of these should have glass in it over here. Yep, we got glass there. And we should have some... We have no... Oh, you know what? It's inside in here right now. I forgot that I pulled out way too much stuff earlier when I was doing crafting. Yep, so we got some extra copper in there. Wow, I'm running really low on copper right now. I guess it's a good thing that we were pretty close, or else I would actually have to go get some more. Okay, so we'll probably end up running it back. No, we got to run it down because we're gonna be running power back there. It's probably easier. No, I lied. Okay, changing my mind one more time. We can run it back because we're not going to need power to go to anything right there. So we can do that, and let me see how we're going to connect it from outside, because we've got this weird little area right here, so it's hard for me to actually tell where the ground is. You know what, we'll just break all of this and go in from here. And let me get rid of these pipes down here. Okay, so it should connect right there. So this is a little bit wonky with how we're going to set this up, but now we should be good to just cover this up with some stone. And it looks like these are already filling sap in there, so it should not be any issue. I don't know if we have... Yeah, we have plenty of stone over here. Cool. So we can fill this in. No problem. Some of this was dirt. I think that was dirt, and that was dirt. And then these can be stone. And then we might need to do some filling in inside the house. But other than that, I think we are good. So this eventually should get sap in it. I think it has to fight against gravity. And... we got to make sure the input is right, too. That's probably the biggest issue. There we go. Now it's got sap. I'm so bad with fluid inputs on these things. I always think it's just items. Okay, you know what? We're going to put that behind us. There should be one of these that doesn't have anything in it. So, yep, I grabbed the right one. That's going to go there. And now we can actually start configuring the outputs on some of these. And then I also need to remember that we need to put water down here. And... so we'll put water there, and then we can actually cover this up. It should be refilling perfectly fine. So we can use that actually to get a bucket of water, because we do need to refill over here. The igneous extruder, it's going to need both lava and water. So now this should be functioning again. Oh, I didn't realize you could even grab stuff out of there. So I could have just grabbed stuff out of there before and had no issue. But yeah, so we're going to grab it out of there, and then this can be filled in if I have... Yep, I definitely don't have the spruce wood that I need for that, unfortunately. Okay, well, that's great. Whatever, we'll worry about that later. So, we're going to do the outputs from start to finish now, because pretty much all of this needs to be reworked in terms of filters at least. So this one, obviously outputting to the top, which is then going to go over and give us some of the processed gravel, which will go to flint. Same thing on the bottom, sand is going to get output over here. So this one should be fine. I don't actually think we need anything running into this right here, so we can get rid of this input and slowly simplify this. Now this one is going to be outputting the main output. Ooh, something was coming out the side on this one. So this pulverizer is giving us niter, and it's also giving us sand. So I think sand was going out the top, and I think niter was going out the side. So let's look at processing of sandstone so I can remember what we're getting as the main output and what we're going to be getting as the secondary output. So pulverizer, yep, so niter was going out the side, sand out the top. So we actually want both of these going out the top. So let's get rid of that. So we'll send orange out the top, and then we're going to just have to filter these. So the niter needs to go over here. So we are going to put a filter on, and we'll have to whitelist it eventually. Oh, you know what? I hope we have enough whitelisting room. Yeah, we should on that, because we only need 3 things going in there. We should be fine on that then. And then over here is, I believe, where the sand is going to be going, because the fluid transposer doesn't actually need anything going in there from this side at least. So this sand is going to travel up and go into here. And then we're also going to be putting cobble in there. Okay, maybe we didn't need more filters. You know what? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to actually be kind of mad if we didn't need more filters, but whatever. We'll use them later. So that's on whitelist, and make sure this was on whitelist too. Yeah, so this is going to be getting the sand, and it's also going to be getting the cobble, and that's going to make the stone, which of course I still need to put somewhere. Probably end up putting it in a cache like behind here now that we've got some free ones. And then we have the secondary output, which is going to be, this is the slag secondary output, so we've got some of that here. That is going to get whitelisted up here, and we can of course just pull some out of the cache that we've got. So let's throw these down. So we need some of this pulverized charcoal, some of the niter, and those are both going to get whitelisted up here. And those are going to go in, and then I can actually grab out all the stuff that we need to set the recipe, because we got to throw this in there and then check it off. So let's Phyto-Gro, set the recipe, and then we need to set the input over here as blue, and it's going to be outputting out this side too, actually. So this should be orange. Can it input and output out the same side? Yeah, okay, cool. So it can. I was really worried for a second there. So it's going to output out this side too, and then we are going to whitelist in this one over here that we only want the Phyto-Gro to go in there. Unfortunately, that's rich Phyto-Gro, so we're going to have to wait a little bit until we have some Phyto-Gro to actually set this, and then that is going to be going in the top. We already got the sap going in the bottom, and then we're going to have the output going out the right side into the energetic infuser, which is going to take blue in this side, and it's going to be outputting to the bottom right there, which will go into the cache. And then I don't know, we can do auto input, but I don't actually know how this works specifically, so I don't think if we mark this as auto input if it'll pull from over here. Oh, it will. Oh, sweet. Okay, so that's our setup right there. Everything should be good now. We do need to go get some power, so you know what we can actually do is empty this completely, and then we'll break it. Okay, you know what? Why am I doing that? I'm so stupid when it comes to using that. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna put it back here. I think this is the best spot to put it, and we are going to set a filter on this, and then we're gonna filter some stone bricks. So let's get back in there, and the only reason that we can get away with this is because we do not need okay, so that's a secondary output only, so we need to set this to orange. Cool. So the only reason we can get away with doing this is because we don't actually need anything going behind there. So it wouldn't work with any of the other machines because we need power, but we should be able to slip the power through the middle there. So that's really just the last thing that we have to do is get the leadstone flux ducts behind there. And the easiest way is to probably just dig into that wall from one of these sides. Probably over here, honestly. And then eventually we'll get power running through here and we won't have to do this every time. But I don't really have a better option right now since I don't have any way to access this. So all of these need power. Then this does not need power down here, but these need power right here. That does not. This does, this does, this does, this does. So we can just run one right. Oh, forgot I said we had to break the torch. So we can put that right there. And these should all still be connected thus far. This, and that should be everything. So if we really wanted to test this out now, and I'm really hoping I don't get blown up by a creeper, we can come over, and I know I've been really lazy again with moving these. I will have that done within a couple episodes. I'm not going to promise. I have an exam tomorrow in process kinetics, so I am a little bit busy. That's why I'm recording now. I'll throw this down since it's going to have to take a while to fill up all the machines, but if you noticed in the last video, or the first half of this video, I probably sounded a little bit less energetic. That is because I'm recording this like 2 days later. I was interrupted when one of my roommates came back because I was in a rush to actually record a video, and that is probably why my videos have been screwed up so much in terms of time. Is because I'm trying to work around my roommates, and when they come in, I just have to stop recording, and I only get 2 times a week that they are guaranteed both out of the room since I live in a triple, which makes it a little bit hard to record stuff, unfortunately. So doing the best I can around my exam schedule on that, but I was really drained after taking an exam and worrying about all that stuff last week, and now I have another exam coming up. So pretty much you're catching me on the tail end of my exam from last week during the last record, the first half of this video. In this second half, you're catching me right before an exam, so that's probably why I sound a little bit different. But we can dump this in here now, and everything actually should just start functioning. It's going to take a little bit. Is this output not properly set? Oh, this needs to be able to accept outputs from in here. Yeah, right? So is this... Okay, there it is. It didn't show up in there initially. I was a little bit worried for a second there. So these will be making flint for us, and this should be making these stone bricks, which will go back here, and eventually producing slag every once in a while. And then last piece of the puzzle is going to be down here. The compactor needs to be in storage mode. That's what the problem was. I was wondering why it wasn't running. Let's throw some extra sand in there just to help it kind of speed along a little bit. Since this is a very small chance that we actually get the niter. So we can just dump all this in there too. Now it should be producing Phyto-Gro, which goes in here. It's going to get filled with... Ooh, yeah, we got a fair bit because it makes so many. And that's going to get infused with energy, which will make it into the final stage. And then it will put it in here. And this should give us a very large amount of wood. I think it's actually going to go over, probably. Is it going to go over? I don't actually know how much it gives us. I wanted to say it gave us a stack, but I'm not sure. Let us watch. Okay, so it gives us a fair bit. What was that, 22? Wow, okay. And then, like I said before, we're going to have to do something with the oak saplings. Eventually, if we want to put in the upgrade that gets rid of the secondary output, that also is an option. But wow, that is a ton of oak wood. So this whole system will get very backed up and start filling this up soon. Really actually quite happy with how this whole thing turned out. I think it looks super awesome. Now it perfectly fills up the wall, and there's definitely some visual improvements that can be made to it, but nothing that I can really complain about at the moment. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I do apologize for, not being able to finish this in one episode, but it was a relatively large build, and I did like getting your guys' input on how to make it better, so I appreciate the help with that. And again, if there is anything else that you guys think that we could add to this to make it even cooler, feel free to let me know. Anything that would make it more aesthetically pleasing, also definitely up for that, even though I think it's pretty darn cool as it is. But I think we can call this one finished. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you later.
Standing in a glass bowl at the end of a black hole, cold, lost and upside down. Faces swirling past me, all my memories rolling vastly.